Federal Reserve and their dollar, which is really what it is. It's a method of enslavement.
Right.
And if you look at the symbols on the dollar bill and on all of them, they're all pointing to the fact that we're all slaves of the Illuminati.
Yes, yes. And interesting enough, because we have some audios in here from the movie The Matrix that also points directly at that. I mean, that's the whole, in my opinion, it's the whole basis of that, going, hey, guess what? This is you right now. In a sense,
you got to laugh at the fools too, and ourselves included, for buying into this for so long.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And going back, way back into the early '90s, I remember, people were talking about the Federal Reserve and pointing out things on the dollar, and people were like, "Oh, come on, that's crazy talk." And now they're all paying attention, apparently.
Well, also, as I say frequently, just because I'm crazy, don't make me wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Make me, I may be goofy and my eyes may roll inappropriately and I may drool on you, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong about the Federal Reserve.
All right. So, in your opinion, what do you suggest for people if this bit of information turns out to be true? And like you said at the beginning of the segment, you always hope that it doesn't. But if it does we start seeing the signs of this is going to come true, what do you suggest people start doing?
Food. Water. Do the basics and work outward.
Yes.
The knowledge is the very first key. You got to know how to grow food, how to store it, so you don't kill yourself. And then you got to, like I say, start getting to it, start growing.
Yes.
Experiment with, sprouting seeds if you're in an urban environment. Try and be real creative and find places you can grow food for yourself and others. Convince others to get involved with it. And actually, a lot of people now are doing that simply because their lives have been turned upside down by all of the economic stuff, and they know that it's never coming back.
Yes.
It's a bad sign when the government is handing out food stamps like this, and when we've got people that are on their 110th week of unemployment.
Yes. Which drives me insane whenever they sit there and say unemployment's going down. It's like, yeah, it's going down because the benefits are being cut, not because they're going out there and
people
working.
Are dropping off.
They're just vanishing out of the system, and you guys are considering it a victory. And you're a bunch of bastards for saying so, because these people are now just completely left out there adrift.
In my new approach to all of this, I mean, it's sort of hardened over these past couple of decades, but I'm absolutely convinced that the safest approach to dealing with government and any official prognostication is to, A, assume it's a lie right off.
Yes.
B, assume that they're going to try and lie to you about their lie. And then C, make sure you understand it's a lie and don't act on it as though it were true.
Yeah, exactly. And if we had a television behind us right now and we watched it for a good period of time, maybe 5 minutes, we would demonstrate all the points that you just pointed out.
I can't watch this stuff anymore. It's so bad. Here I was a television generation child,
yes.
and they have so polluted the media that I want to throw up every time I see any of the paid propaganda shills on the, quote, national news.
Right.
What kind of a society are we in where it takes a half an hour only to tell 4 stories in the national news? Right. I remember when they expanded the news from a half an hour to an hour to try and get in a little bit of the international.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen at all, because, of course, international people aren't bound by our propaganda, and they might tell us the truth.
Right.
Can't have that.
That's like Russian television right now. Russian television, they're really hitting on a lot of stuff, and they're still a little careful of what they talk about, but they going right forward, and you can pick up the Russian television stuff off like the free to air satellite systems, which is always interesting. It's interesting to keep an eye on them, but I'm like you too. I don't even have a TV that I watch. I get all my information off the internet. So. I wanted to, let's see, we have about 5 minutes left. I wanted to ask you about charities, since we're highlighting different charities. Any that are near and dear to you that you would like to highlight at this moment?
Well, it doesn't work that way for me. I'm very much a charitable person. We give away almost everything we get because my deal with the universe is sufficiency and no more.
Yes.
But my personal approach is that my wife does a lot of it. She's involved with various charities.
Yes.
I investigate charities before I would give them any money.
Yes.
But I'm kind of a peculiar, as they used to say, a strange duck, right? So my actual approach to this, believe it or not, is that whenever I had excess money, I would go and I would convert it into like a stack of 5s or a stack of 10s.
Uh-huh.
And then I would get up early in the morning and I'd go to all the places in Olympia here where the homeless were asleep in their sleeping bags.
Uh-huh.
And I would hand out cash.
There you go.
and you can't write it off. No one knows you've ever done it. You know, you keep your mouth shut. They won't even know your name.
Right.
And I think but before I do it, I'd do something even weirder. And that is, I'd sit there, I'd actually go and I'd treat myself, and I'd buy a tall coffee of the day, you know, a drip coffee at Starbucks, right? I'd spend the $2 and I'd get one of those, and I would sit there in the truck, and I'd take these stacks of 5s or 10s. Once I actually had enough money, I was able to give away like $6 $20 bills. In any event, though, I'd sit there and I would put energy into those things with the hope that I would be able to overcome all the bad symbolism in the paper itself, such that when I handed it to these people, I could maybe do something that might change their lives, if not forever, at least for that day. And so that's my approach to it. And then also we find people that there were the terrible floods in Iowa a few years back, and my wife knows people, so we asked around, you know, who do you know that needs help, and we'd just send them money.
Right. You know, that is incredibly cool, because I can relate to that on many levels, just on a personal experience, because of my brother, actually. So, very good, very good. Cliff, as always, it's a pleasure having you on. I know that you have a very busy schedule here coming up all the way to the end of end of 2010, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. well, as we all do.
Yeah.
That's the real spooky part. Maybe a lot of us just aren't aware of it yet.
Yeah, I tell you what. Well, I appreciate you coming on here in this is a switch, isn't it? I mean, we're always going way into the wee hours of the night. Well, maybe not the wee hours, but afternoon. It's kind of wild.
Well, it's great for me, because you people always keep me up past my bedtime.
Yeah. That's true. And
it is true. I go to bed at 8 o'clock any chance I get.
Well, you got me back big time this one.
Yes. And hey, to all those listeners that have stuck it out with you, more power to them.
No kidding.
When the hallucinations start, better go lie down.
And funny you say that. Whenever I was sitting here earlier, I was seeing things out of the corner of my eyes, but now I'll be fine. More green tea will fix me right up, I hope.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, green tea is great for you. The telomeres, it actually increases the life of your cells. So you're probably quite correct. It's the only thing that'll help at this point.
Well, good. Because I was worried whenever I said to the listeners that I switched to green tea, I said, watch, now someone will email me and say, Jack, that is the worst thing in the world that you need right now. And so when you just started to tell me about the green tea there, I thought that's what you were going to say. It scared me.
No, I love green tea and its effect on the humans, and the fact that it lengthens these little telomeres on your cells and your DNA and keeps it from degrading is really cool. We need that these days.
Oh, very nice. Well, I am going to keep drinking this, and you have a great rest of the day, and all the best to you and your family, and have a wonderful holiday coming up real soon here.
Okay, and you guys take care, please. You're probably all too old for this.
All but Jimmy. And Jimmy's the one that's in the worst shape.
Well, what he needs to do is stand on his head.
Oh,
that's what I do as a yogi. If I need to stay up, I'll stand on my head for about 4 minutes and give you another hour or two with no problem.
Oh, I'm gonna have him do that here in the studio on cam.
I'll wait for the big ka-thump.
Indeed. Thanks so much, Cliff. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.